Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer, and I too would like to congratulate my colleague James Kelly for bringing this debate to the Chamber and ally myself with support for Unite the Union and the workforce. As others have said, the job losses don't just affect Cambuslang and Rutherglen. One of my constituents is involved in Mr Ian Young, who lives in Kirkintilloch, and the loss of his job is just as much a tragedy for him as any other worker. And like others in this chamber, I wrote to Marks and Spencer's to ask for an explanation of what they were doing. Like others, I probably got the same reply: review of the food supply chain, staged transfer of products. We're leaving the site with 50% of the business. They believe they've acted responsibly. But have they? And again, as Mr O'Donnell has just mentioned, Marks and Spencer's have got form in Scotland with this kind of thing. This is not the first time that Marks and Spencer's have walked away from one of their suppliers at a time of difficulty, only to come creeping back when things get a bit better. Now, I could go on about the company and their attitude. I find it very strange that a major international employer like Vion should, until this very day, refuse to speak to the trade union. And it is a matter of no passing coincidence that they finally agreed to those talks today, when they knew full well that James Kelly had secured this debate. But I have to say it's also a matter of some regret to me, because I quite like Mr Mather, that he hasn't been busy putting some pressure on the company to talk to the union in the first place. And it's also a matter of regret that he hasn't been to visit the plant himself before now. After all, we're only about 2 to 3 weeks away from when these job cuts will actually take place. As others have said, he was quick enough to go up to Dundee, which just coincidentally happens to be held by the SNP. Now, James Kelly also mentioned the £75 million worth of aid to food processing industry in Scotland, and the fact that the latest announcements just happen to be again and mostly in SNP constituencies. Can I just say to the Minister that it's not just SNP constituencies that have food processing companies. Other areas need that investment too, and if you're going to be spending some more of that money, then perhaps you should be sitting down and talking to Vion and see, even if at this late stage, some investment can be made in order to secure those jobs. I welcome the comments made by Anne McLaughlin, who lives in the local area, or nearby anyway, as she's contested it so many times. But never mind that. I hope she and Mr Doris will continue to put pressure on their ministers in order to help the workers at Vion, and let's see if we can at least try and do something to save some of these jobs. Thank you.